Yeah, they wish and they wish and they wish and they wish and they wishing on me. It's Tony time, bitch, I don't care who's fucking with me. Staying away from tiramisu's a struggle for Khabib. You don't wanna fight, you wanna cuddle with me. My elbows are knives and I'ma cut you with these. I don't really give a fuck who's with me. If this fat fuck will make weights a big mystery. If you were smart then you would probably pick me to submit Khabib at UFC 223. To submit Pettis at UFC 229. Tony time, Tony time. I knock out, sometimes I choke. I might be the lightweight GOAT. If my leg didn't get broke, would've probably beat Khabib. Then moved up and fought with Lee. Either wait for GSP. You don't wanna mess with me. Tony time, Tony time. I knock out, sometimes I choke. I might be the lightweight GOAT. If my leg didn't get broke, would've probably beat Khabib. You can call me Robert Whittaker, call me Robert, get your girl. Scuffle with your Will Romero, about to fuck up his whole world. You think that I'm scared of you, I'm not Michael Bisping. You think that you hit hard while I'm thinking that your shit's weak. You think that you hit hard, introduce you to Mark Hunt. He don't like them cheaters, and I heard that you are one. Illegal knees and deep breath, seen that fucking water stunt. You always gotta cheat because your cardio it sucks. Steroids in your ass right through your stretch marks. I'm about to beat your ass, you just signed your death warrant. Hey, I need you out my way. Hey, I'll beat you, I'm just saying. Hey, you think I'm easy prey? Hey, so did Jacare.
I love you. See you some, boy.
You talking crazy like you wanna bet some pesos. We'll see if you say the same things when that fucking cage close. You think you fucking with me cause you just beat Jacare? Bitch, I been beat Jacare and Brunson. Fuck you got to say. Nah, you ain't got to say shit cause this shit stops today. What's going on, full-time family? We had to put on some UFC Yankovic because I don't know what the fuck we've been listening to on that intro track, man. The beginning's kind of cool. You know that little trap sound we had in the beginning? That's just like a non-copyright. But man, toward the end, that shit started sounding fucking wild. I'm gonna have to get a new track because they've been striking our channel as far as the copyright for the instrumentals, even though it's our own version. So we don't even get the ad pennies we've been getting for those. So we're gonna have to maybe switch it up and play like only the songs that they don't strike. But that TJ Dillashaw sicko mode, they ain't fucking with that one. So we're gonna talk about some MMA today, guys. We got some shit to talk about. Hopefully we can get the panel on here. I know my boy Forward wants to wax poetically about Israel Adesanya. So really that's the goal of today. We're only going to be on for about an hour because I got to get to work in about 2 hours. So I got to get ready for work and a little more before that. So we're going to talk a little bit about Conor McGregor training with Roan Carneiro, who is actually over there at American Top Team, which is to me the most important part of the story. This is the coolest shit to me. Conor McGregor actually over there rolling and training at American Top Team. I've been thinking like this would be one of the best moves. If Conor McGregor would have trained with American Top Team from the beginning of his career, I think he would be just a way better fighter. He's a really good fighter, even better trash talker, but I think he would legitimately be one of the best fighters in the world if he trained at American Top Team his whole career with the best fighters and all the best resources and stuff like that. That's where a lot of the best fighters do train at. So the fact that he's over there now, I also like that because his coach kind of sounded a little non-committal. You know, John Kavanaugh was like, unless Conor takes the right fight, I don't even think I'll corner him. You got to think about your future and concussions. It's like, what, bro? Conor's like fucking 27 or something. He's not walking around here slurring his words. What are you talking about, bro? Like, you're not gonna. If Conor calls you and says, I'm about to go to war, you're not going to have his back? What are you talking about? So it's good to see him expanding his horizons, going and training with some of the best fight teams in the world. I really like this move for Conor McGregor. We're going to talk a little bit about Dana White wanting Conor McGregor back this summer, saying that Cowboy Cerrone is the front runner to land the fight. I fucking love that fight. Conor versus Cowboy. I mean, it's a high profile fight. It's a great matchup for both of them. It's not a terrible style matchup. It's not someone that's just going to be coming in trying to hold Conor down. Love that fight. So if we can see that this summer, that'll be awesome. Of course, Conor has to come back from his little 6-month suspension he got at the Nevada Athletic Commission hearing for the whole post-fight brawl. Dana White saying Tony Ferguson deserves Khabib Nurmagomedov next. He's saying that's the fight. I think we all agree as far as who deserves the fight. But keep in mind, Khabib got suspended 9 months. And unless he does that anti-bullying campaign, it's going to be 6 months. But there's been different reports. There's been people saying Khabib is denying to do or refusing to do the anti-bullying PSA campaign thing. Because he doesn't agree with how his teammates were punished, who both got suspended for a year. So I don't know if he's wanting to cooperate and with these guys and give them that free commercial or whatever the fuck, the anti-bullying campaign to get 3 months knocked off of his suspension. So if he doesn't do that, then he'll be suspended actually 9 months, and he won't be able to come back. I think they said, 3 months after his suspension. So we got to see what happens there. But if that's the case, Tony Ferguson's not going to wait for a 9-month suspension. And so, yeah, that's the fight that makes sense. But if Khabib is suspended, that's probably not the fight that happens. But that puts Tony Ferguson in a weird situation because he's already fought for the interim title, won the interim title, and then was stripped of the interim title. So if he's not fighting for the real belt, where does that put him? Fighting for another interim title? It's going to be hard to convince Tony Ferguson to fight for a second interim title. Maybe if the money's right, fuck it. Fuck the belt. Give me the money. But if you ask Khabib, oops, I just closed out the Khabib article, but I'll get it right back up. Khabib believes that Tony Ferguson versus Dustin Poirier should fight for the interim title next. You know, since he's probably going to be suspended for a while, you know, of course, and of course Ramadan coming up and stuff like that. We don't know who Khabib's next opponent's going to be. If he wasn't suspended, maybe it's for Ferguson. Who knows? His manager was talking a lot about fighting Floyd Mayweather and trying to find the most money possible. But recently he changed his tune, and Khabib's manager said Tony Ferguson's the fight. So maybe that would happen. But if not, do we see Tony Ferguson versus Dustin Poirier for an interim title? Of course, it's an amazing fight. Love the fight. No MMA fans would not want to see this fight. But does Tony Ferguson fight for a second interim title here? Hey, that would just be interesting. You know what I'm saying? So that's something we talk about on the panel. Adesanya, I know my boy Forward's here in time. He would love to wax poetically about Adesanya. I can't ever be excited when one of my favorite fighters is potentially walking to get knocked out. You know what I'm saying? I low-key feel like I'm kind of like watching someone I know, like, even though like they committed the crime, like I feel like I'm watching them walk down death row. It's like, damn, so what you signed up for? But I'm watching the end of, you know what I'm saying? It's like if someone in your family fucked around and got like, you know, some stupid ass, like for murder or some shit, like randomly, not randomly, but and like they were gonna be executed. Like I feel like that's what I'm watching. Like, damn, bro, you fucked up. Like, don't get me wrong, you are a fighter, but this ain't how I wanted to see it go down. You know what I'm saying? So I can't be too excited about Adesanya in this particular fight. But after this, and I also got to be critical here because he's talking about earning a title shot after beating Anderson Silva. And I'm not seeing that. That's more like a Cody Garbrandt route in a sense. Like, you didn't fight anyone in the top 5 yet, brother. You know what I'm saying? Come on, bruv. Can we fight someone in the top 5 before we jump to the title shot, or no? Maybe that's too much to ask. Maybe he'll just want to jump up there early like Darren Till and fight a little too soon before he's necessarily ready for the title, because I don't know, because so he beat Brad Tavares, very impressive. Now he's gonna be fighting Anderson Silva, but he just beat somebody else before that, Derek Brunson, right? So he beat Brad Tavares. Derek Brunson, I don't believe he was ranked in the top 5. He was probably ranked around 7 though, so that's pretty close. And then you beat Anderson Silva, who is a legend, which is impressive and will get you kind of some momentum, especially with the I don't want to call everyone casual fans, but the people that will tune in to watch Anderson Silva. So I guess you could say casual fans. It's going to get you a little momentum, a little stature, a little clout. So, I mean, if he fights for the title, I wouldn't be absolutely surprised. I just don't know if he's going to be ready to fight for the title. Of course, against the current champion, it's not a terrible matchup. Even Gastelum if he wins. So, I mean, I could see him fighting for the title. I just don't know if he necessarily should. I know we've had the conversation on here about when people deserve to fight for the title. You know, specifically recently we talked about Holly Holm compared to like Caitlin Vieira. And I think Caitlin Vieira, I think Adesanya probably deserves it even still a little more than her. I can't even go there. Damn. I was like, because Adesanya hasn't beat no one in the top 5. Well, I guess, so I was going to say maybe Caitlin Vieira does deserve a little more here, but I don't think that's the case. Unless is there front runners in the middleweight division like that really deserve a title shot? If so, then okay. Let's check that out. UFC rankings. Because I don't know who Adesanya would be skipping if he beats Anderson Silva, but I feel like there's probably someone that deserves a title shot at middleweight. Not Romero. Jacare, he lost that split to Gastelum. Rockhold. Okay. I guess Weidman. Weidman's got that win over Gastelum. Did he fight since then?
Oh, he lost to Jacare. So shit, maybe like the path is clear for Adesanya. Because Gastelum's fighting for the title. Jacare, he only lost that split decision though. And that was a really close fight to fucking Kelvin Gastelum. If Kelvin Gastelum wins, maybe it goes to Jacare. If Whitaker wins, we could be seeing Whitaker versus Adesanya, I think. Yeah, that's interesting. That'll be interesting. I mean, Adesanya's path could be clear. Luke Rockhold might be moving up to light heavyweight. He lost to Romero. Romero's fighting Costa. Yo, Adesanya's path is fucking getting clear to literally fight for the title. If he wins this fight, he's actually onto something. He could really fight for the title because there's no one that really stands out. Kind of like in the Caitlin Vieira situation. Like, Holly Holm's fighting for the title because nobody's, like, standing out. Like, no one stands out. There's no one really else. So I like that. I like that. Anderson Silva saying he'll take Israel Adesanya saying he'll take Anderson Silva out the game and earn a title shot at UFC 234. Talk a little about that. Adesanya's coaches trashed the... This will piss me off right here. This will piss me off. What the fuck? Like, this literally pisses me off. What? I don't know which one of Adesanya's coaches said this to which extent, but the headline alone, bro, don't compare my dog Anderson Silva to fucking the Lance Armstrong of MMA. If you want to compare Anderson Silva to somebody, you compare him to the Michael Jordan of MMA. And right now, we're looking at the Michael Jordan that played for the Wizards. Anderson Silva was the Michael Jordan that played for the Bulls. This is one of the greatest fighters of all time. This ain't no Lance Armstrong of MMA. If you want to go Lance Armstrong, I would go John Jones more than Anderson Silva because, to be fair, Anderson Silva actually was rectified by USADA. They came out and found the contaminated supplement. They said he was innocent. He didn't snitch on nobody to get out of this shit. He don't have no picos in his system no more. He's clean, and he was found innocent. So what he did in his prime ain't to be taken away from him. He's 43 fucking years old is what we're seeing now. He didn't fall off a cliff. He's 40 fucking 3. Don't say he's the Lance Armstrong of MMA. Switch that shit up to Michael Jordan, playboy. What the fuck? When you think Lance Armstrong, you actually kind of think doping. When you think Anderson Silva, you don't think doping. You think goat shit. What? Don't piss me off. Don't fuck it up for Adesanya, because I'm a fan of Adesanya, but this coach is going to fuck it all the way up. Don't do that. Come on. What? You got the GOAT fucked up. Oh, and he was sitting right next to him when he said, Adesanya, you should have... Boy, don't say that shit about a legend. I'm about to fight him. Because honestly, even if you fucking feel your personal way, you're taking away from Adesanya's win. What are you saying? He's fighting the Lance Armstrong that's clean now, so he's not the same? So are you taking away from the win, saying Anderson Silva's not, like, really a great fighter? It was really kind of the doping? Well, then that means, what, are you taking a fucking free win here, or what's up? Like, you're taking away from your win. You're supposed to pump up your opponent, even if you think you're about to smash somebody. You don't look past them. You don't talk down on them in a sense of tarnished their legacy. That's why Bisping didn't harp on any... When he was going against GSP... Like, yeah, he said, like, 1 or 2 slight comments about steroids, but he never harped on it, and he didn't want to go into it because he's not trying to take away from the fight. That'll make So I don't agree with this one bit. He said he's Lance Armstrong of MMA. For me, he cheated, and I'm a very stand-up guy. MMA fans, for one or another reasons, they're not the same as cycling fans. MMA fans forget quickly when someone cheats, but I'm not like that. If you do something wrong and it's proven and it's factual, then I hold that against him about it. I don't hold it against you like I want to beat you up. I just want nothing to do with you. Okay, but the people that said he cheated said they got it wrong and said he was innocent. That's the problem here. When you're talking about Anderson Silva, you're talking about John Jones. Speak. You know what I'm saying? Go on your whole little fucking soliloquy. Say everything you want to say about Lance Armstrong. But honestly, if you're talking about the cycling, to our knowledge, all of them motherfuckers were doping too. It was a level playing field. Same, I mean, it's not like there's like one or two people cheating and they're just smashing it. No, a lot of these motherfuckers are on some sort of supplements. Technically, a performance enhancing drug, right? Like, even the ones that are approved technically enhance your performance. The difference is they're approved. So, let's say, okay, USADA says you can't take turbinol, but you can take creatine. Just for example, creatine still enhances your performance technically a little bit. It's just approved. So what the fuck is cheating to you? Unless you're 100% clean, never took a supplement in your life, I don't really agree with going at somebody who was found innocent, especially when they were found innocent and when it's somebody with this stature. I don't like this comparison to Lance Armstrong when we're talking about Anderson Silva. So yeah, man, that's my take on that. Wanderlei Silva, 51 fight veteran, reveals he has several concussion-like symptoms. This is interesting. He's also, I think agreed to donate his brain after he dies for research on stuff like this, which is super dope. But this, I mean, it's not new, but my thoughts are I think he still plans on fighting. I'm pretty sure he's trying to fight Vitor Belfort coming up. I don't think he's gonna fight Chael again. Rampage, I'm pretty sure he wants to fight Rampage again. So if you're trying to fight Vitor Belfort and Rampage, I just don't know how public this should be. Even though, right, it should be public. Like, I'm not saying hide this and fucking go kill yourself in the octagon, like, by taking too much damage. But I'm talking about, like, the Mark Hunt situation. If you think back to the UFC and Mark Hunt, when Mark Hunt just, like, in an interview said, like, sometimes I can't remember what I had for breakfast. The UFC went, beep, 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 whoop, whoa, what the fuck did you just say? Like, they had to take him out of his fight. You can't let somebody fight when they're saying they have concussion symptoms. That's why I'm getting at here with Wanderlei Silva. If you're going around talking about your concussion-like symptoms, it might take away from your potential to fight in the future. So if you're done fighting, go ahead and talk about this. But don't be surprised if you go around talking about your concussion-like symptoms and then Bellator doesn't sign you to a fight. Maybe Rizin will sign you or some shit like that. But Bellator, I don't know if they're going to want to openly sign him to fight Rampage or Vitor Belfort or something like that if you're going around talking about you're having concussion-like symptoms. So that's what I thought about with this. He said he was at a lecture about concussions, and 10 of the symptoms the guy mentioned, he had 8. And he said, for example, like mood swings, getting angry very fast, forgetting some things, having difficulty sleeping. And you know what's crazy, man? Like, 100% I'm sure those are the symptoms. But some of those are like the symptoms of a pothead. Low-key, am I tripping? Like, you forget things, like, you lose a little bit of your memory. Like, do I have a concussion or do I smoke a lot of weed? Because I have difficulty sleeping too, but I don't think I have concussion symptoms. But I have a couple of those symptoms right there. I forget things. Maybe I smoke too much weed. I don't know. No, maybe Wanderlei doesn't smoke any weed. Difficulty sleeping, check mark. I checked that box. Get angry very fast, mood swings. Some people could say I'm passive aggressive. It's pretty hard to piss me off though. I don't get angry fast. So, but that could be like if you've ever abused any sort of like, if you've ever taken steroids in the past, that could have something to do with the mood swings. So that could be like a couldn't that be a combination of different things? Like, okay, maybe you took a little too much roids when you were 25. And I'm not saying that about Wanderlei specifically, but I'm saying in fighters and NFL players, if you ever took a bunch of steroids in the past, maybe as you get older, you still have mood swings. So if you got those mood swings and then you start smoking weed, well, boy, it's going to... Okay, I'm just saying. I don't know. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he gets a fight talking about these concussion-like symptoms. But he did... like I said, he talked about also donating his brain to this type of research in the future. So that's interesting. That's dope. He says, I thought a lot about it, even tried to contact people to make the donation. as far as he plans to donate his brain for research on concussions after he dies. He says, I have the most interested in donating since I won't be using it anyway. The area is very important. So he wants to help that concussion research, which is super dope. And I definitely don't doubt he has concussions, and Wanderlei Silva specifically, because he's been through a lot of wars, and I'm talking brawls. The type of, he ain't a dude that came to wrestle. He came to knock you out, or he got knocked out, and he came in. He's fought with some fucking killers. When MMA had a lot less rules and was a lot more dangerous, this dude was fighting killers. So yeah, he very possibly does have concussion-like symptoms. I think he probably does, but. I don't know the other symptoms, like probably like chronic headaches. I would imagine. I would imagine chronic headaches would be something you suffer if you've got like concussions. I don't know. But moving on, I think this is the last thing we really have to talk about. Then we'll get on to the panel and we can talk about what the family wants to talk about. Joanna reveals her timeline for a return or plan to move back to strawweight. The part that I really wanted to talk about here, because it's really a video, a media scrum, so I can't play it. But the part I wanted to just touch on real quick was her plans to move back to strawweight. And this is just a question, same question I've had about Paige Van Zandt. And maybe there's nothing to this. I mean, it's really not people's business. I don't like talking about it unless we're talking about a topic like this, like weight classes. That's the only reason this is even a topic, because I don't give a fuck if these chicks get breast implants or whatnot. But if you're, my thing is, if you're a girl that had bad weight cuts already, and then you go and add, like some sort of implants, whatever it is, it could be ass implants, maybe you want fucking thicker fucking cheeks, I don't know, breast implants, whatever implants you're getting. My thing is, if you're having difficulties cutting weight and it's already affecting your health, and you've already, Joanna has used that, the weight cut, oh, it was terrible, making 115, and Paige Van Zandt as well. So if you're one of those girls who's had a bad weight cut and then you go get some sort of implants, doesn't it make it harder to make that weight? And I say that because some people have noted that maybe that Joanna has, recently got some sort of implants. And if that's the case, nothing wrong with that. But I'm just wondering about the weight cut, because she has plans to move back to 115. That's my only thoughts about that. Unless the UFC, of course, implements full-time MMA's titty clause. But I don't think they're going to do that. So with that being said, I'm going to get the link to the chat for anybody that wants to hop on the panel, talk a little MMA today. We've probably still got about 30 more minutes, 45 more minutes, probably closer to 30, for everybody to hop on here and tell us your thoughts on UFC 234. Genesis Green, my girl in the building. What's going on? I'm him, Bubba G. What's going on, Bubba G? We got Leon Dubson in the building, Cam Murphy. Here's the link, everybody, if you want to hop on and talk some fights. Yoza L says, bruh, my meds kill me to get off. This kill easy on the mind when you kick. Yo, I appreciate that, Yoza L. Bubba G says, I can't stand Joanna, and that's good to hear, Yoza L. I mean, that makes me want to go live more, but really I've been working a lot more. YouTube's been player hating, so, it really takes a lot of the incentive away from doing these live streams. I think that's why a lot of channels, are stopping doing, you're seeing channels get taken down, all type of shit's happening to people on YouTube, so it's taking the incentive away from a lot of people I know personally. But I definitely still am motivated to get on here at least every other day, if not every day, to speak with the full-time family. So that's good to hear. Cam Murphy in the building, Leon Dubson, Kim Jong Uzi, Best Nation donation. Leon Dubson says, my God, that's officially like the Gale Force wins, man. You can't go out in that. Hope people don't wake up tomorrow morning too much damage, Cam. Oh shit, we got some bad weather out there. I see my boy Forward. I don't see him in here yet. John Doe says, be home soon. All right, all right. Mr. Perfect says, I wish I could, bro, at work. I'm going to try to get one on the next panel. Yes, sir. I never noticed JoJo had a boob job. Seen PVZ had one. Joanna, I think if she does, it was recently. I mean, I've been seeing, like, over the last month, there's been quite a few pictures of Joanna surfacing, and people are like, yo, did she get a boob job? Like, yo, I wondered the same thing, so, I mean, maybe. Really? I never, oh, I already read that. Kichiro Reunion says, fuck YouTube. Hey, I hear you, man. I hear you. I think that's how a lot of people are feeling. But what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Yo's ill. All right, guys. John Doe says he'll be home soon. I put the link in there one more time if anybody wants to hop in. If not, we can close this down and we'll be back live for the fight companion tomorrow, and then maybe we can get a panel in on Sunday. Talk to a little MMA. The hangout link if anybody wants to hop on here. Talk about the fights tomorrow at UFC 234. That's something I'll bring up real quick. Let's talk about the fights, and then we'll be getting off of here soon because I really don't got a lot of time. Let's see, what am I looking up? UFC 234 fight card. Check out these fights and just look them over. They're going to be going down tomorrow. Whitaker versus Gastelum. We'll start off with the main event. Robert Whitaker versus Kelvin Gastelum, fighting for the undisputed middleweight title. Man, this is a way better fight than I think people are probably going to give Kelvin Gastelum a chance in this fight. Kelvin Gastelum, I think this is a better matchup for him than even like Jacare. He didn't look great against Jacare in his last fight. What happened to your live stream 8 hours ago, says Valentine T. What was happening was I wasn't meaning to hit start streaming. I meant to hit start recording because I was just uploading the full-time MMA bankroll over to Patreon. But I hit start streaming accidentally, so I had to hit start streaming real fast. I was trying to hit stop before it even went to YouTube, but it lasted for 1 second. So that wasn't actually supposed to be a stream. Better zip on Brazy Sylvia. What? Gastelum for the win. Better footwork. Second round via TKO, says Joseph Diaz. That's what I'm saying. I really think Gastelum can get the job done here. I think this is a 50-50 fight. His matchup versus Weidman wasn't a good matchup at all for him. Jacare, sort of the same thing. You get taken down by Jacare, that's going to be a bad night for you. So he got a split decision against Jacare, but this is a different style matchup. Robert Whitaker's not a guy that relies on his wrestling to win fights. You actually see him using more of his kickboxing, and so with that being said, Gastelum has great footwork, great boxing. He could fucking sit Robert Whitaker down in the first, in the second, in the third round. Cardio advantage I give to Robert Whitaker here. So, I mean, I'm still going to give him a slight edge to win, but I would not be surprised one bit if Gastelum comes through and wins this fight and becomes the middleweight champion, because it's a matchup thing, and this is just not his worst matchup in the division, and it's a title fight. I'm sure he's training as hard as he's ever trained to be getting a title fight at a weight class up. We don't have to worry about the weight cut. And he had the best motivational speech I've personally ever heard from current UFC champion Henry Cejudo. If you guys haven't heard that on the UFC Embedded, that was a pretty good little motivational speech. So with Henry Cejudo's motivational words behind you also, that really makes this a 50-50. So I'm giving a slight edge. I'll go 51-49 Whitaker. That's going to be a great fight. Can't wait for that. Adesanya versus Silva. Like I said, it feels like I'm watching like a family member walk death row. You know what I'm saying? Like, you signed up for this, you committed the crime, you got to do the time, or in this case, walk the line. You know, Anderson Silva signed up to be a fighter. You know, the legends pass the torches, and that might be what this is. Adesanya fucking brutally takes the torch from Anderson Silva, some sort of knockout. That's probably the most realistic possibility. The most realistic outcome is Adesanya wins by KO. Or next is probably decision, and after that is Anderson Silva by KO. I don't see a submission happening in this fight unless Adesanya wants to fuck around and shock everybody. But come in here, shoot for a couple takedowns, and try and choke Anderson Silva, that'd be crazy. Anderson Silva fuck around and lock you up, boy. You know what I'm saying? One of them motherfucking last second triangle chokes. Ask Chel P about it. Uh-oh, we got somebody on the panel. There we go. We got somebody to break down these fights with me before we get out of here. What's going on? Who's on the panel? Who am I speaking with?
Yo, what's good full time? It's Forward.
Oh, Forward. Perfect timing. We were just talking about Silva versus Adesanya. That's part of the reason this whole stream is happening today is because I wanted to hear Forward wax poetically about Adesanya, make me feel better about this.
Man, I mean, I feel as bad as you do for Silva because again, it's going to be a rough night for him. But obviously, I'm obviously backing my boy and Adesanya. I mean, as biased as I am, I do see a lot of ways to victory for him. You know what? I was similarly hyped for this fight like I was for the Tier Wonderboy fight because again, it's similar styles. It's two high level strikers and they don't normally make for that best fights on the eye at least. Certainly from a technical point of view, if that's what you're into, but in terms of like just straight out action, like there isn't going to give you like back and forths, plenty of knockdowns, both guys bleeding and whatnot. It's not going to be that kind of fight. But so that's why it could be a bit standoffish.
Chess
You may not
match.
see a knockout. Yeah, it could be quite a bit of a chess match.
Woodley Wonderboy?
Wonderboy fight. Maybe not
Oh,
that
Till
much of a chess
Wonderboy,
match.
okay.
Oh yeah, Till Wonderboy is what I meant. Yeah, but yeah, again, so I do see. I don't think it will be like. I do think it'll be a bit of a chess match for the first round and a half, maybe. But I think as soon as once they start to download each other's they start to understand what their movements are like, their feints. I think that's when we'll start to see more of Adesanya imposing his game on Silva. I think he'll start to be a bit quicker, and that's when I see him getting if not a late knockout, then probably a dominant decision. So I don't think it's going to be like, let's say, that catastrophic of a like a beating Silva's going to take, but I think you're going to see the difference in speed, especially, and probably I'm going to see maybe a little bit of a weathered Silva because he's not been the same Silva that we've seen in the past in recent fights. So that's why I'm very confident my boy Adesanya taking this match and then going on to get the belt because again, Nigeria's coming. We're coming for those belts this year. So yeah,
all right, well, I need you to explain this Nigerian's coach calling my boy Anderson Silva the Lance Armstrong of MMA because I don't take that too kindly to that.
Yeah, so I saw that interview actually earlier. That was a great interview. I mean, Adesanya is great with all his interviews. So that's why again, that's why he's definitely one of my favorite fighters in the game. And for that comment, I mean, again, if that's what he believes, and Anderson Silva was technically caught for those drugs, but then he got reprieved in the second one, so it's a bit iffy. I mean, all I would say for that is, again, as Usman says, keep that same energy. If you feel the same way about Silva, then feel that same way about John Jones, about everybody who's popped dirty. Machida, everybody who's popped dirty. So yeah, I mean, if you feel the way about everybody, not just Silva, then you can't really hold it against him because he did technically pop dirty for the Diaz fight, so and that one wasn't overturned. So in the eyes of the law, he technically is a cheater.
That one, I thought they came to dick pills on that one. That was like I thought they concluded the first one was dick pills, and USADA they came to that defense as well. Because to my knowledge, Anderson Silva was cleared both times. As far as not cleared, his whole name cleared, but I felt like USADA came out and they spoke both times and said, okay, it was the dick pills the first time, and then the second time, I think they actually found the supplement. I don't have the article up right here though. So, but yeah, no, I do hear what you're saying. Regardless, though,
I mean,
keep
but
that
just on that, the second one, he was exonerated completely. Fair enough.
Yeah,
and he got a lightened sentence. But then the first one, which was the dick pills, I mean, isn't that? But then if you're saying that, that one is kind of dick pills was a bit shady, then isn't that by the same token means that John Jones is kind of
the difference
in your eyes?
No, the difference to me would be he's not walking around with picograms in his system currently. Like that's the difference to me. But yeah, I mean, yeah, the dick pills was still a little sketchy. Like that excuse is sketchy as fuck. But that's the difference to me. Like if he was still getting exemptions and shit like that. But yeah, no, I do. Yeah, I like what you said though. Just keep that same energy because there's a lot of people that are probably on something, but maybe so we'll see.
Yeah.
But
just one more thing on this fight before we move on to the main event, because I have a lot of things to say about that main event. For this fight, again, I've seen a lot of his interviews out of Adesanya, and it seems like he was hinting at something big happening after the fight now. Again, unless he's going to throw a complete curveball and call out John Jones, I'm assuming it's going to be calling out Whittaker.
Yeah, like coming into the cage, I think.
Exactly, and that's why. And I feel like they've never really done that in the UFC. They never really made it, okay, we're going to get the next contender to step into the cage and do like a face-off. Like, I feel like that's what's going to happen.
Brock Lesnar in DC?
That was the only time they done it, but then even DC forced that to happen.
No, well, yeah, maybe in the UFC. I was about to say, I think I've seen it before. A fighter come into the cage.
I mean, rarely the UFC ever really do that.
Yeah,
so,
they don't do it that often. I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I know Mike Perry didn't actually come in the cage. He was kind of cage side for Darren Till, but he wasn't in the cage actually.
Yeah, but I feel like that'd just be a cool image to get at the end of the night because again, I hope I mean, I expect Adesanya to win, and I kind of hope Whittaker wins because I'm a bit of a fan of him as well. But again, Gastelum's obviously a tough threat, so I guess we'll get into that fight next. But I mean, what's your thoughts on the main event? Unless you've already given it, because I kind of just
Yeah,
came
the
through
main
straight now.
event. I talked about the main event right before, so I'll get your thoughts on the main event. For me, it's pretty much a toss up. But yeah, I previously just touched on that. So I ask you your thoughts on Whittaker versus Gastelum.
Yeah, boy, I mean, this is a very, very close fight, man. I mean, again, I think this is going to be fight of the night. There's a couple of decent fights on the undercard, which I hope perform because it's not a stacked card, which I don't mind. It's more like the boxing kind of template where there's two big fights, especially the main event, and then the rest are just kind of guys on the come up and whatnot. So we'll see. But again, for this fight, I think it's going to be a great fight as long as Gastelum doesn't catch him early. And I can't lie, I think it was Tuesday. I had a dream where Gastelum catches him like 30 seconds into the fight. It's another one of these quick KOs, and then the crowd is silent, and obviously he's there with the new belt. So, yeah, again, that could easily happen because Gastelum's got a very good 1-2. He's quick on the inside, and I think that's where his strengths lie when they get into the pocket. But that aside, I think Whittaker's able to control the outside of his blitz, his length, and also his in and out movements. I think that's where he's very dangerous. So that's where he's going to be able to control the fight for the large part. So I would hope to see a 5-round fight because I think it'll be an amazing fight. Again, Whittaker's never really been in a boring fight, especially at middleweight. So I'm going to side with either a Whittaker late stoppage or a Whittaker by decision. But again, Gastelum could easily get a knockout. I think he could even get a takedown in this fight just because of the striking threat, where it's more of a threat than what Romero had.
Yeah,
so
I think he can score a takedown, but I don't know if he can keep him down.
Keep him down, that's a bit different, so I don't maybe see that. But again, I think Gastelum has a lot of ways to give Whittaker a lot of trouble. I think he's probably his worst matchup in the division, other than maybe Adesanya. So
just presenting the threat of the takedown is going to make you maybe, think and maybe keep your hands down a little lower because you have to be worried about the takedown. So if he can just score 1 takedown or 2 takedowns, make Robert Whittaker lower his hands a little bit, that could open up the big shot. And he does have great footwork and hands. So, I mean, I just think this fight's so close. Like, regardless of how impressive Whittaker has been, which is extremely impressive at this division, what he's done through Yoel Romero and Jacare, it was when Jacare was actually on a tear. Even Derek Brunson. I mean, people don't put as much respect on Derek Brunson's name, but I thought that was a really good fight as well because it was when the division was still log jam. Both of them were on. Derek Brunson was on a 6-fight win streak. He was on a 5-fight win streak. And the middleweight division's a tough division. I mean, so yeah, I think Robert Whittaker's a fucking beast, but styles make fights, and this Gastelum's got a good style to make this a hell of a fight. I see somebody else joined the chat, or I heard somebody else join the chat. I think they might have went off. Okay, they went off. All right, so we'll move to the next fight then. Oh, well, shit, that's really the main 2 fights. Boy. These are all on pay-per-view? I wasn't even thinking about that when I was doing my breakdown. They got Ronnie Yaya versus Ricky Simone, Montana De La Rosa versus Nadia Kassim, and Jim Crute versus Sam Alvey on pay-per-view.
Yeah, it's tough, man. I mean, what I just found out is that the card's going to be at the same time as it normally is in the US, so I've got to make sure I stay up because those 2 fights are worth staying up for, but I just don't want to be put to sleep.
I think it's 1 hour later, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it's the exact same time, but when I looked at it, I thought it was 1 hour later, but maybe not.
Oh, God. That's going to be rough, man. If I fall asleep, I'm going to be pissed.
You might be better off like taking a nap and setting your alarm, like and sleeping all the way up until like the Ronnie Yaya fight or right after that. Like you might be better off taking some short nap and just watching the co-main and the main event because those are really the 2. I actually really want to see the Devontae Smith fight. I'm a fan. I want to see what he does coming up. But yeah, man, there's not a whole lot. Lando Venata's on the Fight Pass prelims. That's cool. Yeah, there's not a lot on this card. Not a lot of meat on the bone.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one thing I do want to touch on actually and ask you is where would you have? Because I think Whittaker's ranked, I think maybe 11, 10.
Yeah, what the fuck? Oh, that's pound for pound. What is this number 12 by his name, dude?
Like, I don't know. The UFC website is in my madness right now.
Oh yeah. Somebody gave. I don't know if it was you or not. If you go to uk.ufc.com, that shit works, and it's the old website. I don't want to tell too many people that because it's gonna blow my spot up.
Stamina said about that as well. Yeah,
it works.
Yeah, but to the point I was making it, I was thinking, where would you, maybe not even a direct number, but how highly would you rate Robert Whittaker against the best fighters in the world? Because again, he's close to getting onto that 10-fight win streak, which is where like only the greats have 10-fight win streaks, like Tony Ferguson, obviously, and then above, obviously, you got the likes of Max Holloway.
You mean like pound for pound?
just in general, like how highly would you rate him as a fighter, pound for pound, if you could put it to a number?
Like right now,
again,
or of all time?
Yeah, just in general. Oh no, definitely right now. Like in terms of the best fighters in the
Okay,
world.
right
How highly
now,
would you have him?
if he wins this fight, it's crazy because like it's unfortunate because Gastelum's a really tough opponent, but it's one of those like high risk, low reward fights. Because like if you beat him, it's not really a legacy fight or a huge money fight, but you have a real chance of losing to him. So I mean, it's not like with a win here, it really changes my decision. So really, for me, it's what have you done up until now, which has been extremely impressive as a middleweight. But he didn't have the most success. It was early in his career when he fought at welterweight. I guess that would be an all-time decision. Right now, man, he's a fucking beast. He's the champion of a really tough division. He beat Yoel twice. There's so many killers. I mean, yeah. I think he's probably top 10 if I'm like just being like real, like, and I'm not giving people popularity passes, kind of like McGregor, and you know what I'm saying? Like McGregor's a really good fighter, but if we're talking about the real deal Holyfield, I'm looking at the John Jones, Daniel Cormier's. I mean, really the champions, because there's not a lot of guys that I would put in the top 10 outside of, let's see, John Jones, Daniel Cormier, you could say Stipe Miocic, Whitaker, Woodley,
Cejudo.
Yeah, Cejudo. Dillashaw still up there. I mean, he's still done a lot at bantamweight. Feather, you got Holloway, of course. Then you can go Ferguson and Khabib. So yeah, he's around number. He's around 10. Yeah, he's for sure in the top 15 and probably cracking the top 10. I would say of active current fighters right now. In my opinion, yeah, I think he's done a lot, and the win streak's there. He's fought tough competition throughout the win streak. And yeah, so I mean, I couldn't put somebody who I do think is really, really good, like Kamaru Usman. I couldn't put him above Whitaker at this point, even though I think he's a great fighter. But I mean, if Usman beats Woodley and Whitaker loses to Gastelum, that all changes like that quick. But I just I might put Usman top 25, but I don't think I could put him above Whitaker. So I think Whitaker would get the nod over quite a few guys, except for the champs. I mean, he's a champ, so he's up there with them. So, I mean, the only guys that are non-champions you would put in the conversation are, like, Tony Ferguson's and Stipe Miocic. But other than that, I don't think there's many people you could even consider up there with Whitaker. So, yeah, for sure, top 10, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, maybe another non-champion you'd put up there is probably Chris Cyborg, but I mean, let's not open that kind of.
Yeah, because I got Whitaker.
Let's not go there. I mean, the main thing for me that just impressed me about Whitaker is how he handled. I want to say handled, but how he dealt with the power and just what Romero brings to the table. So again, if he wants to get this win over Gastelum, it doesn't make him a star overnight, but again, these stars, they need to create like. GSP wasn't a star overnight. Neither was John Jones to a degree. Like they didn't get the belt and then become a star. They had to like get defenses. So that's what he's got to do. But I think certainly I would start once if he wins this fight and really cements himself as a champion. Then that's when I start looking at him as a really top like end fight where I can say that he's one of the best in the world. But yeah, again, I don't know if there's any other fights you really want to go over on the card, but I do want to bring up one topic about my boy Kamaru Usman while I got you here for time. Is that cool?
Yeah, I would say I was just thinking about something that I was just fucking had something I want to say, but it just slipped my fucking thought process. So yeah, go ahead, Kamaru Usman. Maybe I'll remember it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna slide on in. So obviously, my bias towards the Nigerians and even the English fighters as well. And I generally always pick them when I go into fights, but man, I just got a bad feeling about this one. Like, I like T Wood. I mean, I'll be happy for him if he wins. And the thing is, I expect him to win, man. Like, man, and I mean, I expect Adesanya to pick up the belt this year, but I don't know if Usman can beat Woodley. And again, if it goes down to like the style, I don't. Again, you know what was interesting to me is in the press conference, like they both went backing down. They went on like that 10-minute like back and forth, which is entertaining. Like, and I realized it kind of dawned on me that these guys are both dominators. Like, we haven't really seen Woodley in any trouble in any of his title fights. Yeah, he almost.
Bubba, you're breathing in the mic a little bit, Bubba. Just back up.
My bad.
You're all good. You're all good. I'm gonna get your opinion right after this.
Yeah. So just what I saw in that is just like they're both dominating fighters. Like we haven't seen Woodley in any trouble in any of his title fights, really. Usman's obviously dominated pretty much all of his fights. So again, it's just It's a really interesting fight. And again, in terms of who I actually expect to win, I just have a sneaky feeling, a bad feeling that Woodley's going to be keeping a strap, man. And again, it's going to be tough for anybody to beat him. But I mean, is there any hope you see for Usman to win this? Because again, I mean, you know me. If I
Bro, there's a
if I see a way,
there is a path to victory.
Yeah.
Like he
So there
literally
certainly is a
is
path
the
to
best
victory. Wait,
matchup for Woodley. That Woodley's on a phenomenal run right now as a welterweight champion. Phenomenal welterweight run, beating style after style, #1 contender after #1 contender. But Usman is a worse matchup than all of those guys. The last guy to beat Woodley was Rory McDonald. And I, low-key, I mean, people might not agree because of his success in Bellator. I think Usman is better than Rory McDonald.
I'd agree.
And so, for one, there's already that. So he's better than the last guy to beat Woodley, and he's a similar style matchup compared to the guys Woodley have fought. He fought a brawler. He fought the karate guy. He fought the jiu-jitsu guy. He fought the Muay Thai big, Darren Till, but he hasn't went against a elite level wrestler again yet. And Usman is one of the best wrestlers in the division, if not the fucking in the UFC. And so he can put that pressure on Woodley. It's one of the things about Woodley and McGregor and anybody who you've ever questioned their cardio and they've went 5 rounds. When they go 5 rounds, it's because they're allowed to conserve their energy early in the fight. They're allowed to be efficient with their energy, as Conor McGregor would say. Play chess, as Tyron Woodley would say. If Wonderboy's not going to put that pressure on you and come forward, you're not going to use too much of your energy. Well, Usman is a guy that has the ability to even if he's just clinching up with you, you're not going to be able to take him down, probably. I mean, you can. Good luck keeping him down. It's going to take a lot of your energy. So he's going to have to finish Usman early, I believe. Or it could really, the 4th and 5th round in this fight, I think, are going to be more interesting than any fight previously because of Usman's ability to apply pressure and make Woodley use his energy and cardio throughout the fight. So I think Usman has a great chance of winning this fight.
You hear that, but let me pose this question to you. So, I mean, I do feel a little bit more reassured. And again, I know Usman's a great takedown threat. And again, I do picture him being able to perhaps get a takedown, and can he hold him then? That's one of the questions. But again, just to paint this image to you, we know what's going to happen. We know Woodley's going to go to the fence, and Usman's going to basically circle him towards the fence, and then it's going to be pretty much where the fight's going to take place. Now, it's not going to be high octane, but it's going to be a lot of high explosive moments. And again, I just don't know if Usman can close the distance about getting caught with that right hand, because as much as Woodley is, again, a powerful guy, very fast, explosive, he's very good at landing that right hand. He's landed it on literally everybody he's fought over the last 2-3 years. So
no, that's a great point.
I don't know. I just have that bad feeling
think that's why
about Usman just getting caught by it.
No, that's a great point. I don't know because I'm not a fucking championship level fighter, but just ideally, just on paper, I don't know the best strategy to beat somebody that is that dangerous with Woodley's game plan. He's okay with having his back to the fence, and that right hand is just so fucking lethal. What do you do to beat that? I don't know the answer because I'm not a world-class fighter. That's something maybe the Weasel could break down for us or somebody. But that's why, I'm not saying Usman's guaranteed a lock to win. Woodley's one of the best welterweights in the world, one of the best fight. If you want to talk that top 10 conversation we had with Whitaker, Woodley's probably in the top 5. So I'm not counting Woodley out, but I just think as far as Usman having a chance to win this fight, he has a great chance. I wouldn't pick him to win probably. I might be 60-40 Woodley because of what you alluded to, and Woodley's, even if that's not his game plan, he's going to find the best game plan. He always finds the best game plan for that opponent. So that's a great point you make there, and Woodley could for sure knock Usman out. That's a real possibility. But I think Usman still has a good chance to win because he's got a great fight team too. Because one thing is, if you're on your back foot the whole fight, it's not really easy to win a decision that way. So, and maybe Usman can put together a game plan to where, okay, it's going to be hard to take this dude down, but he's probably going to be backing up the whole fight. And maybe he could put together a game plan of just trying to win a decision with output. He's going to have to put together a great strategy, but that's what it's going to take to be the champion, and Woodley has shown us that. So, that actually makes me look forward to the fight that much more. But, I think Usman does have a chance. He's got to at least a 35%, a 30%, perfect, 30% chance of winning that fight. So I want to get to my boy Bubba, though. Bubba hopped on the stream. I don't think you've been on yet before. I want to get your thoughts, Bubba, on Woodley versus Usman, and then I want your thoughts on the co-main event and main event, and then we will get out of here for the day after we do closing thoughts. So, Bubba, first let me hear your thoughts on Woodley versus Usman, and thanks for joining the panel.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, on the Woodley versus Usman, they're both good wrestlers and all that. And I think I don't know if it's a good pattern or not because it's kind of old, but the Rory McDonald fight, Roy had him against the fence and was just throwing punches and staying just out of his range. So that reach came in handy. And I think that's a big toss-up. Now, I'm going to back up a little bit to the Whittaker.
I want to check the reach advantage real fast. I want to check Rory's and Usman's. Go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't look too far into it, but I'm thinking Rory might have set a little table or a little pattern for that or something. But on the Whittaker fight, I was going Whittaker all day up until the beginning of your podcast when you mentioned some things. And so I look into it, right? And Whittaker has been winning fights against high-level wrestlers that can knock you out, like Romero, Souza, and Brunson. So he's been stopping takedowns and just outstriking the wrestlers. And so this is different right here. The Gaslam is the striker. So when you mentioned that, it got me thinking, and now I'm starting to like Gaslam because Stephen Thompson knocked out Whittaker, and so he said, but that's another super high level striker, right? But in his recent fights, they've been all against wrestlers for the most part, and that he's just been stopping the takedown and outstriking them. So we're going to see a new style matchup with him, and I'm really interested to see it. And now after listening to the beginning of your podcast, I'm thinking I might go with Gaslam on my bets, especially because I think he's a little of an underdog.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I don't bet on the fights, but if I was, I'm not going to lie, with the odds, I might be looking at Gastelum here because I think he's going to be underrated and coming into this fight. Yeah, so I like that. I think that's a good decision by you. And I'm looking at the reach right now. Usman has the same reach as Rory McDonald. They both have 76 inches of reach. I'm going to pull up Woodley, so he should be able to use a similar game plan if that's how Rory won the fight, using his reach. They have similar reach. So I think if I'm Usman, I'm watching that Rory McDonald fight 50 fucking times, over and over and over. That's the fight to watch, not the other ones. That's the one. So I'm really looking forward to that fight.
So let me know when you see what Woodley's reach is too, and how it compares. But that's the only real
Woodley has 2 inches less of reach, so they do have a slight reach advantage there.
Right, and I haven't watched the Woodley and McDonald fight. It's been a while. Yeah. But I remember Woodley was just up against the fence getting pieced up, and he just couldn't quite get that right hand in.
And since then, he's had quite a few injuries. After every fight, damn near, it's like a broken finger or a wrist or a shoulder or he's been taking some battle wounds throughout that since then. And Kamaru Usman is fresh, young, stud.
Right, that's a big deal. And Woodley and Usman have about the same wrestling background. I'd say Woodley might even be a little bit better of a wrestler. He was Division I, whereas Usman was like Division II, I want to say. But so the wrestling might be nullified. It might just come down to striking. We'll see.
Yes, sir.
And then the Anderson Silva and Stylebender fight, man, I almost don't. I don't want to see Silva get knocked out, but Brendan Schaub is talking about that's how you got to deal with the old timers. You just got to knock them out. That's the most respect you can do them.
It's crazy because it's like true.
Yeah. But I'm going to bet on Silva too, just because I only bet parlays, underdog parlays for the most part. $5 usually get me like $60. But I feel like Israel, he wants that fight for his own personal reasons, and I get that. But I really want to see him against a top 5 guy,
Yeah, I do too. And he's talking about maybe if he wins this fight, going for the title shot next. I put up the rankings. What Dana said. And he's actually, with the way the way the middleweight division used to be, there was 5 guys that deserved a title shot, literally. When Bisping and GSP were like, Bisping was injured, then he fought GSP. Then you had Rockhold, you had Jacare, you had Weidman, and you had Romero, all who could have got title shots. But since then, like, a lot of guys have lost and were already fought for the title. Adesanya's path is cleared. Luke Rockhold got knocked out by Romero. Romero already fought for the title twice. The other guys in the top 3, Jacare, he just came off a loss via split decision. He's the guy with the best case, and he's coming off of a split decision loss. So Adesanya actually does have a path to the title here. I don't think he would really be like stepping on anybody's toes and skipping anybody, except for maybe Jacare. But you could argue he needs to get a win before a title shot.
And Dana said this is for the next title shot. I mean,
so like if Silva wins, does he get the title shot?
That's what Dana said just like yesterday.
Oh wow. Oh my shit, that would be wild, bro. That would
right.
I don't even care because I'm such an Anderson Silva fan.
I know, right? It'd be amazing.
I would just be watching it,
dodge.
hoping he could win the title again. Like if he wins this, I know people would be pissed if he gets a title shot. Not me. I'm gonna be a happy camper.
I tell you what, if Anderson Silva could get some picograms, he could win it.
That's what I'm saying. Give my boy some picos, man.
Right.
Fuck, let him. Since people are already calling him the Lance Armstrong of MMA, fuck it, give him some picos. I'm with it. I'm with it, man. I see my boy Bada Jr. hopped on. That's my dog, man. It's been a while. I know where Bada Senior is. You know he needs to make an appearance. Go ahead, Bubba.
One more thing. I appreciate you having me on. I'm going to go ahead and get off, but listen to the show and finish my workout before I got to go to work.
All right. Sounds good. Yep. Oh, that's about the end of the show. So do you have anything else you wanted to talk about MMA? We'll probably do another panel Sunday. Thanks for hopping on.
Hey, no problem. See y'all later.
All right. See you. All right, guys. Well, that's about the end of the show. And with Bada on the call, who knows what we might start hearing at any time. He might be playing some bagel biting. He might be getting on some trolls' heads on here. We don't know. Joseph Diaz says, remember Woodley has been asking behind him for wrestling, and he knows Marty. That's true, but Usman's a fucking stud. Have a good weekend, full-time family. Forward hopped off. Thank you for coming on the panel, Forward. That was dope. And also to Bubba. You guys made this stream epic. It went for about an hour. So thank you, full-time family, for coming through. This was awesome. Good work, kept me well entertained, says Kim Jong-Uzi. Well, that's always good to hear. Thank you very much. I will be back tomorrow for the Fight Companion. We'll be watching these fights. It's not the most stacked pay-per-view, but you know what I'm saying. As hardcore fans, I consider us. We will definitely be watching. So come watch that with us. And then Sunday also we'll most likely have a fight panel where we can talk about the fights, especially if Anderson Silva pulls off like some crazy fucking upset. We'll have to talk about that. So that being said, it is what it is. Thank you guys for coming through. I'm about to head off to work. Hope everybody has a great day. And with that being said, let the full-time family know what you think in the comments. My dog, we out.